Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a Diablo 4 video about 14 things I wish I knew when I started playing Vessel of Hatred. These tips are going to save you time, effort, and confusion. And we'll start right away with tip number 1, unsocketing. You no longer need to unsocket gems. Back in the past, if you wanted to take something out of a socket, you had to go to the jeweler and then hit unsocket. No more. Now you just take a new gem, or a new rune for that matter, you pop it right in and it just replaces what's inside. Tip 2, stack all XP bonuses when you're going to be going for Paragon levels. At all times, you should have running 1 elixir that's giving you an 8% XP buff, 1 incense that's going to give you a 5% XP buff. If you're running Season 6, then you have Obols that are going to give you another XP buff. In the season journey, depending on what season you're in, you probably have some kind of XP buff as well with your Smoldering Ashes. And then lastly, they've added to Nightmare Dungeons an XP well. You're going to want to run Nightmare Dungeons until you find one of these wells. You click on it and you're going to get a 15% XP buff for 1 hour. All of these small numerical buffs add up together to be a big difference in how fast you're going to level your Paragon. Which, by the way, speed farming the pit past Torment 4 or doing Infernal Hordes will be your fastest XP farm. And when we're talking about speed farming the pit, we're talking about runs of about 2-3 minutes max. Before we go on, a quick word from this video's sponsor, NordVPN. A VPN is an important tool for keeping your data secure and encrypted on the internet. And I don't dare connect to public Wi-Fi without first enabling my VPN. Be it on a phone or a laptop, whether I'm in an airport or a cafe, I turn on my protection before connecting to that public Wi-Fi. Because you never know who may be snooping around trying to steal your personal data. Because that Wi-Fi network named Cafe Free Wi-Fi can actually be anyone using their phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot to trick you into connecting to them. Turn on your VPN, and now your data is getting encrypted before going out. You can also use a VPN to get around region block content by picking a server in a different country, and NordVPN has thousands of servers worldwide. It's also so user-friendly that you're basically one click away from hiding your IP or browsing the web from a different country. And one account lets you connect up to 6 devices, be they computers, phones, tablets, you name it. So take control of your internet experience today with NordVPN. Right now, NordVPN is having their Black Friday deal. When you use my link, nordvpn.com/Rhykker, you'll get a huge discount on a 2-year plan plus 4 additional months for free. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/Rhykker, or click the link in the description below. Tip 3, you can level an alt with Whisper Caches. It takes a total of 27 Whisper Caches that you get on your main character in Torment 4. Open them on a new level 1 character, and again, 27 to go from level 1 to level 60. If you don't want to farm up 27 caches, then just farm up 4. 4 will take a character from level 1 to 35. At level 35, that's when you can equip Mythics. So if you have a bunch of Mythic items, or even just one, a level 35 character can equip it. It's real fun to deck out a new character in a bunch of Mythics and just go to town. Tip 4, Mercenaries are more powerful than just helping you in combat. Go to your Mercenary Den. You're going to want to unlock all Mercenaries as soon as possible and level them all up. Not just your main Mercenary, not just the Mercenary that you're going to use as your reinforcement. Why? Every Mercenary has within their rapport a certain level at which, rank 8 typically, where they are upgrading their bartering. So as you're leveling them up, you start off by getting skill points and then other buffs, and some of these are bartering bonuses. Now again, I believe it stops around here, around rank 8, which is where you want to reach on every Mercenary. Because bartering is a really useful system in this game. You go to Faria here to barter. She's going to have a list of things here that you can purchase, including aspects, including bundles. Every 1 day you get a free restock. You hit that and you can see here, I have a salvage material cache. I have a resource aspect cache. If I'm hunting for specific aspects, let's say I want to level up my umbral aspect, I'm going to get a resource aspect cache. And you can get boss material caches here. There are so many different things that you can buy here. And again, you have a 1 once a day, free restock. And honestly, the 100 barter coin restock isn't a big deal. You get these coins just by playing the game. These are pale marks. Again, you get them just from playing the game with the mercenary equipped. But the amount of things available in bartering is dependent on the levels of your mercenary. So you gotta get every mercenary, again, unlocked to a point where you have all of their barter upgrades, which is going to be the last one right here. Tip 5, Temper Scrolls. These scrolls of restoration, they're actually quite plentiful. We were concerned that we wouldn't get enough of them. Yes, you can get them from the Dark Citadel, but you find them aplenty playing the game normally, especially in Infernal Hordes. Now, these are only usable once per item, as the tooltip says. If you are to brick an item while tempering, you can only unbrick it one time, and then you're just going to get your tempering attempts back. So keep in mind that if you get greedy, you could still permanently brick an item. You cannot infinitely use these. Number 6, the Codex entries cap out at 16 out of 21 for non-ancestral items. Meaning you can only upgrade a Codex entry beyond 16 out of 21 if you find an Ancestral. Even then, it's not guaranteed, but only Ancestrals can roll on their legendary aspect high enough to go beyond the 16 out of 21. And if the Codex entry doesn't cap at 21 and some other number, it's going to be scaled appropriately. But if you're wondering, how come I'm stuck on 16 everywhere? It's not a bug. It's just that it's pretty rare to get these upgrades. So you might be wondering, well, how do I fish for ancestral items? That takes us to tip number 7. Obol gambling is amazing. With Obol gambling, you can target farm specific slots, and you have a decent chance at getting ancestrals. You even have a chance at getting mythics. And if you roll a mythic, it's going to be a mythic for any slot. So you can be gambling pants and end up getting a mythic helm. And before you gamble with your Obols, Obols and Opals are two different things. If you're gambling your Obols and you're in a season in which you have Smoldering Ashes that can be spent on Obol gambling, definitely pop that in before you gamble. You can get more items. Gambling can also get you unique items, and this is actually one of the best ways to deterministically farm for unique items that you need. In the past, we had to farm the different ladder bosses or tormented bosses. Every boss has its own drop pool, but you can also just gamble your uniques. This is especially helpful if your class only has 1 or 2 possible options of a unique within a given slot that you're gambling for. So for instance, the Spiritborn has a lot of rings, so it's not a good idea to farm rings through gambling with the Spiritborn. It's better to go after whichever tormented boss has it on its loot table. But outside of that, for instance, again, Obol gambling is a great source of getting up the uniques that you need for your build. And if you're wondering how to max out your Obols as quickly as possible, speed farming the pit. Now, I said that the other uniques are all on some boss's drop table. There are some uniques that you can only get, or they're on the drop table rather, in Infernal Hordes. And the Infernal Hordes chest as well is a great source of ancestral items for that matter. On to tip number 8, where to find runes. I get this question a lot. So first off, the tormented bosses. These are the bosses that you're gonna summon via all these different boss summoning materials. Tormented bosses have a good chance at dropping high runes. World bosses as well. I didn't realize world bosses, good source of runes. Otherwise, the Undercity, the Tribute of Harmony reward upgrades runes. You're often going to get something like 4 runes to drop from these Undercity runs. Now, if you're not getting the runes that you want, you can engage in rune crafting, which is going to allow you to reforge 3 runes. It's going to take 3 runes of one type, and it's going to transform it into 1 random rune of the same quality, or a 15% chance of going up a tier in quality. Tip number 9 is being aware of Masterworking Costs. To fully masterwork one item from Masterwork rank 1 to 12 costs 9.5 million gold. However, just to get to rank 8 costs 2.3 million. Meaning to go from 8 to 12 costs an additional 7.2 million. More than double the cost. Similarly, the cost in masterworking materials to go from 8 to 12, it costs something like 3 times the amount of masterworking materials as it takes to go from 1 to 8. So what does this mean? First off, it means it's best to masterwork things gradually. Get everything to rank 4, then to 8, then to 12, as opposed to just blasting one thing all the way to 12, because getting one thing to 12, you could have gone multiple other items up, and every masterworking rank gives you just a 5% bonus. It's not like 12 master rank is better than 4 master rank. But the other reason is for re-rolling. It costs you 5 million gold to reset your masterworking ranks. Every 4th rank, 4, 8, and 12, you land a critical on your masterworking, so one of the affixes is going to be buffed by a big chunk as opposed to all of them being buffed a little bit. And some of these stats are going to be very important for your build. Others are less important. So if by rank 8 you have not landed a critical on an important stat for you, if it's only been crits on bad stats, you're better off resetting than going all the way to 12 and hoping to land a crit on 12, because it's so expensive to get to 12. Save your materials, your resources, you're better off resetting at 8 and trying again. Because again, you effectively have 2 additional attempts going from 1 to 8, meaning 4 chances of getting masterwork on the right rolls, than just going once from 8 to 12. Tip 10, real simple, Torment 1 is all you need. Higher Torments do not have better chances at Mythics or anything. Higher Torment will get you more stuff to drop, but the actual chance of getting good things does not go up. You will get more good things, but that's just because more things are dropping in general. So always play on whatever difficulty is most efficient for you, meaning whatever difficulty you're not struggling in. If in Torment 3, you are farming more items per hour than in Torment 4, you have no reason to be in Torment 4, because it's all about items per hour. Unless you're doing it for fun, that's fine. Tip 11, how to get your missing materials. Missing Forgotten Souls? Get them from Helltide and from bosses. Missing Iron Chunks? Get them from Whispers or in Helltide. Missing Rawhide? You can do Whispers, but Tormented Bosses is best. You get Rawhide from salvaging armor. 1 Rawhide for a non-ancestral legendary, 3 Rawhide for a unique, 10 Rawhide for an ancestral legendary, and 30 Rawhide from an ancestral unique. Tormented Bosses drop a boatload of these. Need masterworking materials? Do the Infernal Hordes. Otherwise, Nightmare Dungeons if you don't have any Infernal Hordes keys. Need gold? Do Whispers, Infernal Hordes gold chest, and sell regular unique items to vendors, but be sure to salvage the ancestrals. Tip 12, don't run the Undercity without a tribute. You're going to get these tributes from playing the game. Oftentimes you're going to find them in either Whisper caches or Helltide chests. These all give you something, and whatever the something is, it's what makes the Undercity worth running. For instance, you can get boss materials, really good sources of boss materials with the right tribute. Like we said, runes. There's even a super rare tribute that gives you either a guaranteed or a really good chance at getting a mythic item. And this is for everyone in the party. So the other tip with these tributes is if you play in groups, 1 tribute is needed for 1 party. So if you just use 1 tribute yourself and you run it by yourself, that's 1 tribute helping 1 person. If you're in a party, 1 tribute is helping 4 people, meaning if you guys in your party just rotate, everyone takes a turn putting in a tribute, you guys can collectively be so much more efficient. Tip 13 is how to get Mythics. So first off, Mythics can drop anywhere, doing anything, even gambling, as we established, but the best source, the most deterministic way of getting Mythics is going to be via the Tormented Bosses, and Duriel and Andariel have the best chance at getting Mythics to drop. It's said to be about a 2% chance per Duriel or Andariel kill. However, Duriel is infinitely easier. Infinitely is a stretch. Duriel is a lot easier to take down than Andariel. Andariel, you cannot just bypass her mechanics with enough DPS. So Duriel, in my opinion, is the best source of getting Mythics. Now, when you get a Mythic to drop, it's very unlikely to be a Mythic that you want. So you're probably going to be crafting your Mythics at the jeweler. There are Mythic Uniques that you can have as recipes here. Every Mythic Unique has its own recipe. Each of them costs 2 Resplendent Sparks and then 18 runes, 666 of different runes. Now you might go to the blacksmith and see, well actually, I can forge a Mythic here. All it costs me is 2 Resplendent Sparks and 50 million gold. Only 50 million gold. Don't do that, that's a trap. Why do you want a random mythic? You want your very specific mythic. You're probably not swimming in Resplendent Sparks, or if you are, you don't need to be watching this video. Yes, runes are hard to get, but you have terrible odds of getting the mythic that you want. This is a trap. Don't do it at the blacksmith. Do it at the jeweler. Try to get the runes that you need to craft precisely the mythic that you desire. Now, how do you get the Resplendent Sparks? Well, you salvage a mythic to get 1 Resplendent Spark. Otherwise, you can guarantee a Resplendent Spark by doing, in Season 6, the Season Journey. I believe it is the final step will get you 1 Resplendent Spark. Also, your first Uber Lilith kill will get you 1 Spark. Do it on Torment 1. Doesn't matter, you don't have to do it on Torment 4, you don't get anything extra. Torment 1, to make it as easy as possible to get your Spark. Allegedly this season, on your first T4, Torment 4, Tormented Boss Kill, you're supposed to get a Spark. Some people say it's working, some people say it's not. Regardless, you only need 2. So Uber Lilith and Season Journey gets you the 2 Sparks you need to craft your first mythic that you desire. Then number 14, our final tip here is going to be, if you want to get a free lion cosmetic, this lion right here, you just need to get every Tenet of Akarat in Nahantu. The rest of the game has shrines of or altars of Lilith. You want to do all those because they give you some small amounts of power. The Tenets of Akarat in Nahantu, because there are no more shrines of Lilith, the Tenets of Akarat are similar, but they don't give you anything. They don't give you any advantage in the game, but if you collect all of them, you get that sexy lion that we just showed. And if you want to collect them all, then Redditor Siege Mode 1 has put together this nice graphic right here with the wonderful route that you can take to optimize your run. It takes no time to bang this all out. Now, if while you're doing the Tenets of Akarat, one of them isn't spawning properly, because these are a little harder to get than Altars of Lilith, because you need to like click on little statues near the main statue to unearth the main statue, to free it of corruption so you can click on it. And sometimes there's like a mini game, you gotta click the little lights in the right order. But if the Tenet of Akarat literally is not showing up for you or not interactable or something, you need to relog, you need to re-instance for it to appear properly. So you can either do that by going back to town and coming back until eventually it re-instances, or you can log out and log back in. Just try that. What you can always do is just move on to the next one and then come back later and see if it's now working properly. So folks, those are my tips, but I encourage you folks to sound off in the comments with yours. Also folks, if you want some free cosmetics in Diablo 4, from October 8th to November 5th, you can get cosmetics just by watching Twitch streams. There'll be new cosmetics to farm up every week. You gotta watch at least 3 hours a week to earn the cosmetics of the week. You can watch me at twitch.tv/Rhykker. Also during this time period, if you buy or gift 2 subs, you get this horse, and 4 subs will get you the horse armor as well. Also folks, we're doing the Patreon banner this year. Anyone who is a Patreon supporter by October 31st at patreon.com/Rhykker, even at the $1 pledge, will get your name on the shirt. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my supporters. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Diablo content.